What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Manchester United are back in action again. Premier League matchday 37 up against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It's at 8:15 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. Manager is Enzo Maresca. So now, of course, earlier on in the season, we did draw 1-1 with Chelsea at Old Trafford, and courtesy of goals from Fernandes and Caicedo. In terms of Chelsea, we'll get into some match insights right now, so I'll pull them up for you now. Chelsea have won just one of their last 14 Premier League games against Manchester United, drawing 8 and losing 5, though it was a 4-3 victory in this exact fixture last season. Manchester United have won just one of their last 11 Premier League away games against Chelsea, drawing 5 and losing 5, a 2-0 victory in February 2020 under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is just the second ever Premier League meeting between Chelsea and Manchester United on a Friday, following a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge in August 2002. Chelsea versus Manchester United is the most drawn fixture in Premier League history with 27. The reverse fixture at Old Trafford this season finished 1-1, with both meetings between the sides finishing level in 7 previous campaigns, and Chelsea haven't lost their final home league game in any of their last 22 seasons, winning 15 and drawing 7 since a 3-1 defeat to Aston Villa in 2001-2002 season. So it's not looking good for Manchester United in terms of some stats there, but in terms of how Chelsea are gonna in terms of some recent form for Chelsea are coming away with a 2-0 loss against Newcastle away from home, but before that they did get past in the Europa League semi-finals against a side that I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to try, but they did beat them 5-1 on aggregate, so they are in the Europa Conference League final, so they are looking forward to that final at the end of the season. Manchester United are, of course, in the final of their own, but yeah, in terms of Chelsea, in terms of their team news, Nicholas Jackson, of course, is suspended after getting a red card against Newcastle. Fofana, Kellyman, Nkunku and Gay are also out. So in terms of Chelsea's starting 11, this is how I think Enzo Maresca is going to set up his side. So Sanchez in net, of course, Caicedo, Chalobah, Colwill and Cucurella making up the back four, Lavia and Fernandes making up the central defensive midfielders, Madueke, Palmer and George in behind Neto, who's going to be playing striker in for the suspended Nicholas Jackson. So in terms of how Chelsea like to play, in terms of the low build-up, Maresca sets his side up in a 4-2-2-3 formation. The goalkeeper moves into the back line to create a back four, allowing the wingers to push higher, and the 6 building players can work together to beat the initial press, and the 5 attacking players can cooperate to create goal scoring opportunities. In the high build-up, Maresca's Chelsea set up in a 3-2-5 formation, and Maresca usually wants his 2 holding midfielders to be in different lines during the build-up, and this is crucial for creating passing lanes and disrupting the opposition's defensive structure. In terms of numerical superiority in midfield, having only the 2 wingers out wide and the rest of the middle creates more creates more options in the center and less space between the players. Maresca likes this because he prioritizes playing through the middle. He needs one player out wide to pull the opposition apart, while the rest create numerical advantages in the midfield area. So a massive aspect of Enzo Maresca's high possession build up is to have defenders high up. This helps in the counter press because they get closer to the center. Having more players closer to the center who can win the ball back makes it difficult for the opposition to do anything when they win possession. So Maresca also wants his team to play through the opposition when possible. One vital tool is they often use the third man principle. The third man principle is a tactical concept used to create and exploit space by involving a third player in a passing sequence. And finally, Maresca wants his players to try find attacking midfielders in the pockets. These pockets refer to spaces between the opposition's defensive and midfield lines, where the attacking midfielders can receive the ball in more advanced positions. By positioning themselves intelligently in these pockets, the attacking midfielders can turn quickly and face the opposition's goal, creating opportunities for through balls, driving runs or direct shots. This positioning forces the opposition to make difficult decisions as well. So in terms of final third, they like to use the overlaps and underlaps as well, and getting many players in the box as well. In terms of defending, Maresca's Chelsea Usually they set up in a 4-2-3-1 formation when defending, and they look to set up in a mid block, always trying to close the centre and force the opposition out wide. Maresca wants his team to stay compact without dropping too low, preferably closing the space between the midfield and the back line. One tool that helps is to be compact is to play with a high back line, making the space to the midfield as small as possible. So Maresca's players do this and usually try to keep the highest line they can without leaving the space behind them too open. Additionally, Enzo Maresca always wants his team to squeeze high up the pitch when defending. This means constantly pushing the team up as high as possible. Every time the opponent plays a slow sideways or backwards pass, Chelsea's first line of pressure pushes up with the rest of the team following to stay compact. When the next pass comes, they push up even higher, forcing the opponent back even more. So Maresca usually wants to press the opposition high up the pitch. The pressing structure will depend on the opposition, but they primarily want to have a +1 numerical advantage in the backline against the opposition forwards. This leaves the Chelsea attackers in a numerical disadvantage against the opposition backline, meaning one or two opposition defenders will always be open. So that is a thing that we can exploit as well when they do try high press United. We might be able to exploit that. In terms of Chelsea's star man, obviously I'm going to have to say it's Cole Palmer. He's got 15 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League so far this season. He is the most creative player in this side and one we have to look out for. Very dangerous in and around the box, and he did score against us last season as well. So we have to be wary from him. So in terms of Manchester United, of course, we are coming away with a 2-0 loss to West Ham, unfortunately. It was a poor defeat. It was a poor performance. It was a very flat performance as well. Not much can be said about that. We were poor all around and we deserved the loss. But I do have to admit that we did create some chances, and I think we did have more XG than West Ham, but we didn't do nowhere near enough to win the game, especially because we're at home as well. We need to be doing more to win the game, and it was defensive lapses in concentration that actually gave West Ham the 2 goals. But yeah, in terms of United injuries for this match, Dalot, Martinez, Heaven, Xerxes and Collier are all out. And in terms of Manchester United starting 11, I am going with a heavily rotated side because of the Europa League final coming up, of course. So Bayindir in net, Fredrickson, Lindelof and Heaven making up the back 3. I think Heaven should be back by now. He has been injured for a little bit of time, but hopefully he is back. I think Lenny Yoro is going to be out for the Europa League final, but yeah. And then midfield 4, Dogu, Eriksson, Kone and Amas making up the midfield 4. Hopefully Kone gets some minutes. I think he's a promising young talent, so hopefully he does get a couple of minutes. And then finally in the front 3, Garnacho, Menu and Chido Obi Martin up front. So in terms of Man United star man, I think I'm going to have to say it is going to be Eriksson for me. Eriksson or Garnacho. Probably Eriksson because he has the ability to unlock the defence. So yeah, in terms of how do you beat Chelsea, exploit Chelsea's lack of a recognised striker. So Chelsea will be without a recognised striker due to Nicholas Jackson's suspension and Christopher Nkunku's injury, and this situation may force them to deploy an unconventional front line, potentially with Cole Palmer in the central role or Neto in the central role. United should capitalise on this by pressing high and disrupting Chelsea build-up, limiting their ability to create scoring opportunities. So another thing that United might be able to exploit is targeting Chelsea's vulnerable flanks. With both fullbacks Reece James and Ben Chilwell potentially unavailable, Chelsea's flank may be exposed. United's wingers such as Garnacho should aggressively attack these areas, aiming to stretch Chelsea's defence and create crossing opportunities. Also control the midfield battle. The midfield duel between Bruno Fernandes and Chelsea's midfield could be pivotal. United should aim to dominate this area by deploying a dynamic midfield pairing, possibly involving Christian Eriksen and Kobe Mainoo to control possession and dictate the tempo of the game. And then number 4, utilize set pieces effectively. So given Chelsea's potential defensive reshuffling, set pieces could be a valuable avenue for United. Players like Lindelof and Chido Obi Martin can pose aerial threats during corners and free kicks, providing United with opportunity to score from a dead ball situation. So number 5, maintain defensive discipline. Despite Chelsea's attacking challenges, players like Cole Palmer and Pedro Neto remain threats. United's defence must remain organised and vigilant, particularly against quick transitions and individual moments of brilliance from Chelsea's attackers. So also finally capitalise on counter-attacks. With Chelsea likely to dominate possession, Manchester United should be prepared to exploit spaces left behind during their advances. Quick transitions and counter-attacks utilising the space of United's forwards can be an effective strategy to catch Chelsea off guard. So that is how you beat Chelsea. But in terms of Manchester United though, I am expecting a fully rotated side, and of course all eyes are on the Europa League final. So not really, we don't really care that much about this game. Obviously we don't want it to be a cricket score or anything, but we don't really care about the scoreline. Our most important game is against Spurs. All focus is on that, but we just have to navigate this fixture to the best of our ability and not get smashed or, like I said, turn into a cricket score. I personally don't think Manchester United are going to be coming away with the win. I think Chelsea are going to win, courtesy of goals from Palmer and Neto. But yeah, in terms of the league table, maybe we should take a look at the league table. Chelsea are, of course, pushing for Champions League spaces. They are currently in 5th position. So let me just pull the league table up for you now before we head off, and then we'll take a quick look at the league table. So here we are. Chelsea are in 5th, possibly could move to 66 points if they beat us, and they would, depending on their goal difference, they'd probably just be in 4th, or maybe in 3rd if they do get a higher goal difference, if they beef up their goal difference against us. And Manchester United, on the other hand, are nowhere to be seen. We are all the way in 16th. And it's mad that these two teams are in the Europa League final. So I think Tottenham are also playing tomorrow as well. But yeah, I am not expecting anything from this game. I'm expecting Chelsea to be coming away with the win. I'm going to go for a Chelsea 2-0 win, courtesy of goals from Palmer and Neto, but hopefully I'm proven wrong, and hopefully Man United do come away with a win. But like I said, all eyes are on the Europa League final, and it is what it is. We just have to navigate this fixture to the best of our ability. Hopefully we don't get smashed, hopefully we stay competitive and it is a decent game, and hopefully Man United do come away with all 3 points, although it is pretty meaningless because we're going to be finishing 16th and 17th or whatever. It's literally a fight to finish 16th and 17th between Man United and Man United and Tottenham. I think United and Tottenham are going to finish 16th and 17th in the league, and then it's literally just a fight between the best of the worst in terms of the Premier League side in that Europa League final. All eyes are on that. But yeah, that's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you after the match.